Want to have your clip featured in the Skyrim Clip of the Week? Simply record the clip on your Xbox and then send it to me via message. My gamertag is iRyeni, that's IRYENI, and then you can message it to me over Xbox and I'll be able to view it. I look forward to seeing the clips that you guys send me. Now moving on to the video. Hey, what's up guys, it's Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of Modded Monday. We're on week number 252 now, guys. I've picked out 5 new mods for you guys to check out, and perhaps add them to your load order if you find them interesting. But like always, before we jump into them, I want to remind you guys that I'm partnered with GamerSupps, which in my opinion is the best energy drink on the market. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to check out the link in the description where you can go to their store page, and you can also use the code RTD for a 10% discount on all your purchases. I also want to say, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any brand new mods each and every single week. Now that all that's out of the way, we can jump into this week's mods. And starting us off, we have a very simple sound mod called the Dungeon Sounds Overhaul. Now the mod page reads that this is a complete dungeon music and sound overhaul to make the dungeons and ruins feel a lot more creepier. Hopefully this mod will send some shivers down your spine with 37 new sounds and music tracks added to all dungeons, including caves, forts, Dwemer ruins, Nordic ruins, and even mines. The music replaced is very dark and has creepy tones as well as new sound effects, and it also mutes all the ambient interior winds, crumbling, crackling, and dust falling apart for a quieter and creepier experience. It also silences the Draugr and skeleton breathing in footsteps so they can creep up behind you, and there's also new cave drip sounds and new blade swing trap sounds as well. This mod is also very compatible with other sound mods that you may have, such as Sounds of Skyrim and other music and soundtrack replacers. This mod also doesn't edit any of the cells, so it's 100% compatible with any interior lighting mods that you may have. As you can see in this playthrough here, I have the ELFX Hardcore mod installed just to make the interiors of all the caves and forts a lot more creepier, because it makes everything completely dark and makes it so you have to hold a torch. But enough of me just talking about how creepy these sounds are. Let's actually take a listen to some of the new interiors and caves whenever you go into them and see just how eerie some of these interiors are.
This is a surprise. Damn you!
Now, as you can probably tell, this greatly changes all the exploration that you do inside of, the caves and the forts whenever you're exploring Skyrim and actually looking for some loot. And this is actually something that reminds me of Oblivion, because Oblivion had amazing cave soundtrack music. It wasn't really that long, so it kind of looped over itself as you were exploring that game. But this mod goes above and beyond, adding 37 new sounds and music tracks into the game to completely change your entire experience whenever you're going and looting all these ruins. So if you're looking to completely change up the sounds inside of the dungeons, then I'd strongly recommend downloading the Dungeon Sounds Overhaul, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at a number 5 spot. So go download it and experience these new creepy caves for yourself. Coming in at our number 4 spot, we have a mod that would be perfect for anyone going into the Civil War that wants to have their own unique standout armor set. This is the Imperial Guard Centurion armor set. And this comes with a chestplate, gauntlets, greaves, helmet, cloak, sword, and shield, and this is a unique lore-friendly armor set based on the same version from Elder Scrolls Online. And each piece of this is 3 points higher than the standard Imperial heavy armor set, and this can also be worn by both males and females. Now, to obtain this new armor set, you can craft it at the Forge under the Steel category, but also know that Imperial commanders, legates, and generals will also wear this armor too. Now, I absolutely love the looks of this armor set, and I would definitely use it in my playthrough. My only complaint is that it's very, very high in memory space, coming in at 111.32 megabytes. So with this just being one armor set that they're adding into the game, being over 100 megabytes, it's a bit of a trade-off there, because you'll miss out on some other mods if you're building a huge load order. But if you're diving into the Civil War and you really want a new unique armor set to go alongside battle in, this is definitely the perfect mod to do so. My only recommendation is maybe they upload one with some downscaled textures to maybe bring down that memory space just a little bit, but other than that, this is a brilliant mod, and I would recommend this to anyone going through the Civil War playthrough and siding with the Empire, and that's definitely why this mod's featured here at a number 4 spot, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Imperial Guard Centurion Armor Set mod. Coming in at our number 3 spot, we have a mod that's going to completely transform Winterhold from the ground up, and this is the Settlements of Winterhold mod. The mod page reads, do you ever head north and find that Winterhold's a desolate area with a handful of wolves and goats? Do you ever find so much empty space thinking that Winterhold was probably the last area of the game to be worked on? And do you ever think that Winterhold could use some deeper lore after the collapse, and that the Dwemer who came to Skyrim and built the Azura's Shrine would have a bigger role in Winterhold? Well, this mod fixes that with no added dungeons or enemies. It's recommended to use this mod alongside other Winterhold city mods that actually, build the city up a little bit, because this actually is so compatible with other mods that change Winterhold, because it leaves Winterhold itself unchanged. It's more so just the outside area, and it adds a bunch of new locations surrounding Winterhold. And I think that's a really smart idea on the mod creators' part here, because they wanted to add so many new locations to Winterhold, but not have to limit you to just using their mods. But some of the new areas that they've added with this mod, of course, Azura's Star converts the shrine into a Dwemer city, so that looks really great. We also have a new city called Albathond outside of the Alfthand ruins, and this is a Dwemer city influenced by Markarth. Following that, you have Snowfang, which is whenever Winterhold collapsed, the survivors set up a small town southwest of the original Winterhold to act as Winterhold's new harbor. Moving on, you have Northaven, which is a fishing town on Winterhold's west coast, north of Albathond. Following that, we have Mala, which is a new island city that's very impressive and beautiful to look at, and this is the capital of Skyrim's orc stronghold. Very, very fun to explore, and it's completely walled off and just full of orcs. It's a brilliant place, I absolutely love it. But on top of that, you also have the farming district, which is styled after the base Windhelm farms, with some added Nordic arches. You have the Dwemer Quarter, which is named after the Windhelm Grey Quarter, and adds 3 Dwemer buildings outside the south of the Winterhold city. We then have the Three Holds Tavern, as well as a Beast Tamer house, and definitely more planned in the future. But not only does this bring new areas into the game, it also brings new followers, such as a Dwemer Ghost, a Dark Brotherhood assassin that was kicked out, a Red Orc, and a Dwemer, as well as new pets that aren't necessarily functional yet, but they plan on updating the mod to add a brand new array of pets to get too. So there's so much content jam-packed into this 55.83 megabyte mod that why wouldn't you want a mod like this? It gives you so many new unique locations to explore, new NPCs to meet, new followers to get and have them travel by your side, and eventually when the mod updates you'll get new pets to have as well. The future of this mod is looking extremely bright, and I can't wait for the next update for this mod, because I'll definitely be checking it out and seeing what's in store for us in the Settlements of Winterhold mod. So if you're looking to completely transform Winterhold and have a bunch of new content to explore up in that area, then the Settlements of Winterhold is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, so go download it and add it to your load order as well. Coming in at our number 2 spot, we have a brand new follower mod that adds over 2,500 lines of unique dialogue, and this is the Remiel Custom Voice Dwemer Specialist and Companion mod. The mod page reads that this adds Remiel to the game, who is a Breton engineer who will accompany you in your travels. She's traveled from Wayrest to explore Dwemer ruins in Skyrim, but she needs your help. While she's not much of a fighter, she boasts a knack for machinery and will reprogram a Dwemer spider to fight alongside you both. And like I said in the beginning, she's a custom voiced follower with approximately 2,500 lines of unique dialogue, and she'll comment on cities and towns of Skyrim, comment on the weathers, and of the different times of day, and she works off of a custom follower framework, which means that similarly to Inigo, using any other follower framework mods will most likely confuse her. But you're free to try and manage her with such frameworks, but it hasn't been tested, and I myself haven't tested with it either because the only follower mods that I really use are ones that just give you more followers instead of just having one by your side. So it's probably best to have just her, or maybe just download the multiple followers mod so you can just have more than one, because all of these other mods that, give a bunch of frameworks will most likely just mess some things up. But other than that, you can find Remy staying at Markarth's Silverblood Inn, where she's staying after being turned away from exploring the ruins under the city. You can offer your aid in gaining entrance to the ancient Dwemer city, embarking on a mini-quest that follows along with the vanilla quest, The Lost Expedition. During this quest, Remy will obtain her Dwemer spider and become a full follower, unlocking various discussion topics, quest dialogue, idle commentary, and a regard system as well. I really like the way this mod is set up because with these new systems that they've implemented here, it's a lot like Inigo where you can ask how they're doing and they'll say something different depending on where they are, what time of day it is. And with these 2,500 lines of unique dialogue, you can also say, how do you feel about me? Kind of like how in Fallout you would have, that type of conversation with your follower where your follower would either be, into you because of the decisions you make or be against you because of the decisions you make. So there's a lot of back and forth whenever it comes to how every different type of quest you do and every different type of playthrough you have, it'll always be different and she'll always be saying new commentary, and this is what she sounds like here.
Would you care to see the rest of Skyrim and beyond with me? Oh, friend, I'm so excited! There's so much to see, so much left to do. The two of us together, we're an unstoppable team. Let's go see the world.
Now at the moment, she can comment on a bunch of different quests while you're in the middle of them, such as the Lost of the Ages quest, the College of Winterhold quests, as well as the side ones, the Thieves Guild, the main quest, the Dragonborn DLC, including those side quests, the Companions, the Dawnguard DLC, and so much more, including modded quests as well. They're also working on a Legacy of the Dragonborn installment of her voice line, so that would be very cool to see. She can also interact with a bunch of different followers as well, such as Ayla the Huntress, Serena, and Jazargo, and she can even interact with your modded followers as well. They're planning on giving a bunch of different lines to Lucifer, Zelzaz, and more, so any type of modded follower or just regular follower you have, there'll be a bunch of banter and lines that they'll say back and forth to each other, and I absolutely love that. So if you're looking for a new follower mod that actually reflects on the decisions you make in-game and the quests you do, then Remiel, the custom voice Dwemer specialist and companion mod, is definitely a mod I'd recommend checking out, and that's why it's featured here at a number 2 spot, so I'd recommend downloading her and going exploring those new Dwemer ruins for yourself. Coming in at the number 1 spot this week, we have a mod that completely transforms and overhauls all of the armor and weapons in Skyrim and even adds tons of new weapons to have at your disposal as well. This is the Swift Kingdom Weapon and Armor Overhaul. And the mod page reads, you ever use an armor, clothing, or weapon texture overhaul and we're just like, yeah, this is near a gigabyte and all, but all I'm really getting is textures. In fact, wouldn't it be great if I had those things in an overhaul where I never knew an NPC would have an equipped weapon or armor? The NPCs in Skyrim actually do seem as uniformly equipped as the guards now that I think about it, so I sure wish I didn't feel like the only person in Skyrim with an actual inventory. It would be nice if Skyrim felt more like an MMO. So this is the mod for you. Not only does this mod overhaul the textures of all armor, clothing, and weapons, it also includes 357 weapons with throwable ones as well. All the original unique weapons in Skyrim will now be truly unique, and also the vanilla weapons will all have brand new textures using both believable weapons and Lean Wolf's better shaped weapon meshes. The mod page then goes on to say, but Swift, so what? That's only an HD texture overhaul with 357 weapons, phenomenal meshes. So what? I don't know if I can justify going over 850 megabytes in my list. To which they respond, alright, but what if Fashions of the Fourth Era was included too? That's 85 armors that also use the texture upgrades included, so not only will you never see NPCs wearing the same stuff in the same town, the NPCs will also change their clothes daily, like real people. But they're not finished there yet. What about face masks of Skyrim, adding 16 different face masks into the game? They like using shouts as well, especially yeeting people and animals off of mountains, so let's make the unrelenting force 7 times stronger. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and put a 100% shout cooldown on the Amulet of Talos, and speaking of jewelry, let's include wear multiple rings. That's a great addition too. All this stuff, hoarding items can cause save bloat, so you've got to be able to sell stuff. So the richer merchants of Skyrim it is. But that's still going to be a lot to carry, so how about we add the bandolier bags and pouches as well? So armor, clothing, and weaponry textures, 357 weapons along with vanilla weapon meshes that make them a lot more immersive, 95 complete armor sets, 32 standalone armor pieces, and they don't even know how many bags and pouches. So you really have to add each individual asset up, and you are looking at an edition with about 600 items, plus all vanilla armor, clothes, and weapons completely redone with the exception of guard and stormcloak armors. But I know you may be thinking about compatibility right about now because this is a ton of different mods just jam-packed into one mod here, but I actually was able to run this with my 150 modded load order that we made a couple weeks back, and it ran absolutely perfectly. You know, there was some overlap because I actually used some of the mods that are included in this list, which makes it so much better that they're all confined into one mod here now, and this completely changes so much in Skyrim. I've named so many things that this changes, and all the armor looks amazing, and one of my favorite new armor sets that they've added or changed is the glass armor. I think the glass armor looks phenomenal, but this entire mod is phenomenal. There's so much that comes with this mod, and it comes in at 868.76 megabytes, so why wouldn't you want a mod like this? So with all these new brilliantly remastered textures as well as the new content, whether they be armors, weapons, you name it, it's so hard to even wrap your head around how much is included in this mod. So that's definitely why this mod's featured here at a #1 spot this week, so I'd strongly recommend downloading the Swift Kingdom Weapon and Armor Overhaul and exploring this huge new array of content for yourself. So that's pretty much it for this week's episode of the top 5 Skyrim mods of the week. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and if you did, I'd appreciate it if you left a like and subscribe if you're new. It really helps me out a lot. And if you have any suggestions for mods you'd like me to cover in future top 5 mod episodes, be sure to let me know in the comment section below, or you can follow me on Twitter. I'll be sure to leave my Twitter in the description, and you guys can follow me on there and leave me suggestions there as well. Special shout out to my Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have done for me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I will talk to you guys later.